Welcome to CP Insider. I'm Emma Kuntz, and today we're speaking with Coury Deeb, the producer and director of B-Boy for Life. Hi, Coury.
Hi, Emma. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking with me.
Yeah.
When were you introduced to the story about B-Boy for Life, and why were you inspired to start filming?
B-Boy for Life was a story that found us. We were there on a scouting trip looking for various stories in Guatemala City. And after one of our partners on the ground asked us to stay in this mansion in a gated community in the suburbs, we realized that's not where the stories were. So we denied that friendly offer, and we decided to buy these really cheap mattresses from some corner store in the ghetto and sleep on the floor in the ghetto with some Guatemalan friends. And there we lived and we ate and drank with the Guatemalans, and there we discovered some powerful stories, one of which was the story of the B-Boys and how many of them dance for their lives. They dance to stay out of gangs, so they embrace that hip-hop culture there and the purity of it there in the city.
Wow. Could you offer a description or account of the violence in Guatemala? Perhaps share with us your best and worst experience of filming?
Yeah, there's so many crazy stories that we encountered just on production alone. One of which, that first night that we stayed in the ghetto, I had asked a friend, a partner on the ground, if I could interview some gangsters, knowing that was an interesting subject and that could play a role in the larger film. And so within like a few hours, she said, I've got some gangsters in the alley right next to this building. I was like, okay, I think in like one or two. Well, I walk out the door and it's about midnight, and I find myself within a minute next to probably 10 or 12 gangsters with bandanas over their faces. They're all drunk and stoned, and they all have guns, shotguns, pistols, and they're all loaded. And it was really nerve-wracking, but I was excited to be in the center of a very powerful image, asking questions to them like, why do you murder people? Why do you do the things that you do? And so I got to learn, firsthand much of the stories and the reasoning behind why gangs function in Guatemala City.
Wow. How have your beliefs or your faith molded your career and your desire to serve others?
Over the past decade or so, I feel like God's revealed to me the passion, the desire to serve where I'm gifted, not only where I'm needed. And so that's one of the messages I like to share with groups. In 2004, my wife and I were living in Philadelphia for a while, and we were attending a church there called Liberty, and a guy named Celestin was speaking there at the church, and he and his organization were doing some great things on the ground in Sudan. And I felt like it all of a sudden clicked. Though I had done all this mission work before, both out of country and in country, I finally kind of captured the vision of being able to use what you're good at to be able to serve. 1 Peter 4:10 speaks frankly about that. And so that is where I caught the vision, is to be able to use my gifts, specifically in the realm of photography and filmmaking, jump into the war-torn regions of Sudan and capture those stories, bring them back, and hope to make an impact not only there, but here in people's lives.
I think you're doing great work.
Thank you.
What are you hoping for the viewers of this film?
This film, it's a really fun film to watch. You really don't have to care much about Guatemala as a country. It's not a journalistic doc. It's not an educational doc. It's a cinematic doc, which is one of the reasons we've got great distribution on it, with theaters nationwide, with Discovery and Stars, because it's a very human interest, a very entertaining, highly energetic film that takes you into the stories of B-boys and gangsters in Guatemala City and how their lives really interact. So the desire for the viewer is that they be highly entertained, but also be made aware of the plight, of the brokenness in Guatemala City, as well as here in the States. We deal with a lot of the same things. So there's several universal truths that we tackle in B-Boy for Life.
Right. So in addition to a great story in B-Boy for Life, it also has a really great soundtrack. I was wondering if you could tell me anything about that and how it was compiled.
Yeah, I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and we're blessed to be a part of a community there, Sojourn Community Church, and we have just a stupid amount of gifted and quality musicians in our community, and one of which is Neil DeGrade, who is the music supervisor. All of the soundtrack is original or from artists, musicians in Louisville, and so it is very a homegrown soundtrack. But it was also one of the most difficult parts of filmmaking, because to do a film on one of the elements of hip hop B-Boy, you know, it's very sensitive. You can't just pick anything. I mean, these kids have got to dance to it, and then it has to be adopted by the international community, because music is part of hip hop.
Right.
And it has. You know,
Really?
Neil did a great job, the team did a great job, and it's been adopted, and it's been used really all over the world.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. I want to congratulate you on a job well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Emma.
Thank you. Thank you from CP Insider.